good evening. It's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening. And this is the evening that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm hopeful that you've had a fantastic, beautiful week like I have had. And we are on to another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week ahead of us. So most welcome to Occupy today, tonight. And I am hoping that you are starring in your businesses and doing splendidly well, just like I am doing, because the grace of God has been poured on all of us who are in business, who are hoping to be in business, and who are looking forward to being in business one time or the other. So I want to welcome you to Occupy today on Hope TV, only on Hope TV. And I just want to welcome you to hear us, to listen to us, and to interact with us. Karibuni sana. My name is Kajuju Gisharo. I am a growth coach in the areas of human resource management, leadership, entrepreneurship, and innovation. And I just want to welcome you to be with us tonight to enjoy the show Occupy today, where God calls us to occupy until He comes. As you do your thing, I do my thing. We are all in the marketplace, and so we are equipping you. We are spurring you and pushing you towards the right direction to be able to do your business, to grow the thing that God has put in your hands to grow, because He has left some talents with you. And when He comes, you will have to report back and say, what have I done with what He left for me? So karibuni sana. The show tonight is like no other. We're starting yet another series. Previously, we had the agricultural value chain. It was a splendid series. We had very many guests in the show that were able to tell us what they're doing in the agriculture space. And of course, you remember we had people who are doing marketing. We had people who are doing production. We had experts that do mentorship as well as coaching for business people. And we are now moving on to another value chain, what we call the circular economy. And guess what? Tonight, I am with an amazing lady, a guest, someone who knows so much. I may not know so much about the circular economy, but guess what? Catherine Ndung'u is in the house tonight. She has been there, she has done these things, and she'll be telling us what is this thing called the circular economy. Catherine, karibu.
Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Karibu sana, and it's really nice seeing you in studio tonight. Yes, I am privileged and I'm honored to host you, a very great expert in areas of business, and I'm sure one of those is the circular economy. You've interacted with it, you know what it's doing. And of course, I just want to welcome you to introduce yourself and to tell us where you've been, what you've done, and yes, we can carry on with that.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. My name, as you said, is Catherine Ndung'u. I run a business called Design 365, and we work with products that are from Kenya, and we do our little thing about pushing Kenyan fabrics and products to showcase what we have in this country. Everybody has a role to play in the country, I believe, but for me, I say Kenya has beautiful fabrics, and we use them to make contemporary items. Wow. But to get on to what we're discussing, I also run a consultancy, Elim Consult, and we coach, mentor, and train and facilitate SMEs and business people in ways of growing their businesses and making their businesses better. And one of the components that we look at is circular economy. Yes.
Lovely. Yeah. Who better would I have in the show that you're actually, I love the way you describe our fabric in Kenya. That sounds like it's not Kenyan fabric, you know. Your fabric in Kenya is what? I mean, I look at that and it's so amazing. And then, of course, you're telling us that you work with businesses, some of which are in the circular economy. And, of course, I just want you to expose to us, what is this circular economy? I know it's a word, it's a buzzword today. Yeah. And I'm sure our viewers would like to know, what is circular economy? What are we talking about when we say circular economy? Maybe some of them are having businesses that are actually in that economy, but they have no idea that it's actually circular economy. So would you want to take some time and expose this one to us?
I think in a very, very, very basic and layman way, I would say circular economy is the economy of where you use your product, your resources, your labor, your energy to the last mile, where you extend its life. You extend whatever you have in your businesses to the last mile, and where you use it again to the maximum. I think that's the best way I would describe circular economy in the briefest way. And in most or all businesses, there is an element that can be adopted, which has a circularity element in it. Yes, yes.
So even service businesses would have circularity to them?
Yes, in terms of labor, they could maximize on the labor that they have or even on the services that they have. But it's predominantly used mostly in products where products tend to have a life and maybe we don't exploit that resource to the maximum. And an example would probably be in terms of being in a business where you have a product you're producing, but you have not thought about how is that product moving from one cycle to another, and the cycle would be, it is from your business and it moves into your customer. When it moves from your customer, what kind of products do you have at the very end? Can that life of that product, even in the hands of your customer, can it be extended? And for that customer, can they extend that product that they have or the resource that they have with them to utilize it to the maximum? And the reason why I would want to do that, it would be good to reduce on waste. And adopting circularity helps put the product within the system for a much longer period. And I'll give maybe a simple example. For both of us, I'll use a domestic example first so that we look at it at a home front. Is, for example, what products do you have in your home that may have extended life?
Maybe like the containers that come with the cooking oil. I don't know.
Yes, containers that come with cooking oil.
Yeah.
Ice cream containers. So instead of disposing of them, you may find that they can give you another lease of life in your home. They turn out to be what you're calling them, not only a container for fat, but it could be a container for water. It could be a container for flour. It could be a container.
A flower pot.
It could be a flower pot.
Yeah.
It could be a feeding for animals.
A trough, yes.
It could be a trough. So we are saying in circularity, are there things about your business or are there things in your life that you can do that you can extend the life of the products that you have?
I see.
Yes.
Wow. And Catherine, I'm curious to know why is it called circular? Why not rectangular? Why is circular? You know, like,
Yeah. I think why they would say circular, and circular is derived as something, say, infinity. You talked about rectangular.
Yes.
And I'm going to use a very simple example. We have rectangular tables, and when you have rectangular tables, who sits at the head? And at the tail.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a beginning
Yes,
and an end.
Ah.
Yeah, there's a head and a tail and the people sitting around it. And we also say that even when you're having that discussion, there's a person who's leading that discussion and you're probably the participants in it.
see.
And the concept of round, which is circular, it means that you're all equal in that space, but not to allude to the coffee table that you have here.
I was about to say, but this is square, not even rectangular, Catherine.
So bringing it home, it has an element of infinity. Infinity, not in its exact word because you're using finite products, but we're saying it is a product that you take round and it comes back to you. It is in a continuous process. And what we would call opposite, which is not rectangular, would be linear. Linear means it has a start
And an
and it has an end, where you probably use a product to a certain point and it probably gets to a waste.
I see.
But in circularity, we are saying, is there a way it can
go round.
go around and maxed before it gets into the waste?
Wow, wow, that's profound. That's profound. Because I'm already beginning to imagine how many articles I have in my house that can actually go around. It finishes use here and it moves to the next and it
Yes.
moves to the next and it
Yes.
moves to the next.
Yes, yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Wow. So I'm hoping that, my dear audience, you're getting the real vibe around circular economy. Lest you ask me, this circular economy, how circular is it? Like I'm asking Catherine, can't it be rectangular? So I'm hoping that you get the gist of it, because as we begin introducing the circular economy, and we'll be bringing many guests into studio just to speak about this, you have the hang of it, and we run from one session to the next, and you're able to relate with it at that level. Because as a business person, you want to see where the opportunity is, you want to see where the challenge is, and you want to open your eyes to the possibilities within this economy. No wonder then we found it very, very great for us to introduce the circular economy on Occupy today. So Catherine, then, what sort of businesses have you dealt with that are in this economy? And maybe you can say 2 or 3 of them. What are they doing? So that then it also creates a richer picture for my audience to know what are they doing, what can they do. What exactly are we talking about when we say circular economy? Is it real or are we just imagining things? You know, someone might think, Kitu, you guys are just imagining something. But when you present a business that is actually doing this, it becomes real and it's more applicable for the audience.
The businesses we've worked with are in leather, textile, and also agribusiness.
Yes.
And in circular, there's a term that we use, and we call them the R's of circularity.
The R's.
Yes. So it could be regenerative, it could be recycling, it could be repurposing. So there are many R's that work in business.
Even reusing?
Even reusing in business. And when we're talking about businesses, it really does depend on the sector that you are in seeing the components, the equipment, the resources that you have, and things that you're using that probably are natural in doing.
Yes.
So for example, in leather, for a person who's working in leather, and we're talking about the value addition in leather, it could be that they may order leather and they may need to make a handbag. A handbag may probably take a lot of leather.
Yes.
But there are also certain items, the waste that they may get, the offcuts that they may get. And those are items they may decide to reuse, or repurpose. And probably even for those who are in the agribusiness, they may use it as fuel. For those who are probably have a lot of waste, they can turn it into compost. So there are many ways to do it. So talking about leather, that would be one area where they may also reuse their leather. Where when they have the offcuts, that's not the end of the life of the offcuts. It could turn up to be a patchwork handbag.
Could be the inner pocket of your handbag.
It could be the inner pocket. It could be the zip area. It could turn out to be a belt. It could also turn out to be jewelry. You could use it for very many things so that even as you have your waste, you're able to repurpose it. But what we say about circular economy, it is not a end result and then you figure out what to do.
I see.
This is something that is inbuilt in your system where you say, even when I'm making my handbag, I do know what I'm going to do with all the materials that are working with it at the end. It is ebbed into your business plan, your system, yes. It's not that you wake up one day and you realize, oh my goodness, I have so much waste. What can I do with this? Yes, we are saying that in the business, you know that these offcuts will go here. There are also others who, their handbags have gone a full life. But the accessories are still okay. Why not reuse them?
Yes.
And those are other areas, even the textile people or the leather people who are able to use accessories that are still in good condition, but the handbag has done its full mile, and they're able to reuse those different accessories on the new handbags.
Wow.
So,
and I think the question, what is going through my mind is someone manufacturing handbags and they have those offcuts. Is it possible that they can be reused by someone else and we still say that they're doing circular economy? You're getting what I'm saying? So for example, I'm the manufacturer of the handbags and I have offcuts and I give them to you because you do passes. You don't do the bigger things, I do the bigger things. Is that still circular economy?
It is. It's still part of the value chain of that product.
Yes.
Because it also goes through the value chain.
Yeah.
So it may be that person may decide that this is not the space that I want to get into, but there's somebody who sees value. And we say even in circularity, what might be your waste might be valuable or materials, something valuable for somebody else.
I see. Okay, great. But now, Catherine, has this thing always, now when we hear circular economy, you wonder, when we were in Form 1, did it exist or has it just begun? Is it something that has just come up or has it always been there?
I think by if you listen to the definition of it, where we are saying we are maxing, we are maxing on the resources that we have in terms of making sure that whatever product is used to the maximum, then even if we look back, even the ages we were living, it's very possible, or I would like to say that it is, yes, we were maxing on that.
I think
Yes,
so.
we were maxing on that in terms
Yeah.
of circularity. It may sound a big word, but I would like to believe that we all have practiced a level of reusing, reconditioning, repurposing. I think there are about 10 of them. Those that come to mind are those ones.
Yes.
But in our lives, I think there are those things that we have decided that I'm not done with you. They could be even gift boxes that you have. Instead of throwing it away, it could end up being something, a storage packaging for you.
For something, yes.
We get curtains from supermarket. But for you, you may not see it as a one-time use. You already know what it might work for.
In fact, as you talk like that, I'm remembering a lady in one of the markets I know about. One time I was moving and I needed whatever's to pack. And I went to this shop and they cannot give you boxes just like that. So what they do is sell. They actually make money out of what came with their, you know, the packaging that came with their items, yeah? And as you talk about, it has always existed. Maybe the words may not have been there to call it circular economy, but I can only remember my grandmother using the containers from, you know, that cooking fat called Kimbo.
Yes.
And she would use it for fetching water from one jar to the next. Meaning that it has always been there. It's not like it's something new, but I think the visibility of it in terms of even being called circular economy, I don't know what it was called before, is now there. But then again, Catherine, why? Why is it important? Is it important to even emphasize, talk about it, bring it to visibility for somebody in business? Is it important?
I will say it is important, and I'll first start off with your grandmother. And I'm thinking, had she thought of throwing that Kimbo container, she should have had to buy a jar. So in the economic sense,
I see.
when you repurpose, you're saving.
Yes.
And also in business, it also looks for way. It's a lucrative world, and we need to cut down our costs. I mean, if you're able to repurpose, if you're able to reuse, if you're able to reposition, if you're able to re-energize whatever products you have, it also speaks into saving, into the current resources that you have. If those off-cuts were used to waste and they go and fill the landfills or the dumping area, then you lose income in terms of selling it as you're selling it, a value for someone else, or denying someone an opportunity to have that product.
Definitely.
Or two, you also lose out on the opportunity to come up with a new product that will generate money for you.
Definitely.
And in terms of the discussion we have about our earth,
yes,
we have infinite resources, and we keep creating new products.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't max or maximize on those products. What we are saying is, for us to protect our earth and for us to protect our environment,
yes,
if we could use what we have more and reduce on the waste that we have, then we will be speaking into the economy of sustainability and sustaining the world, sustaining our lives, protecting our resources for the next generation.
Wow.
Yes, because we are recirculating, we are circulating what we have before we think of getting something new. Before we get into the full production, can we just work with what has been produced or what we have? Can we use it 2-3 times? If we have, say, like the one-use papers, now look at how it's changed in Kenya. Had we continued using that one-use paper, I remember when I used to shop in the supermarket, we would get a packing paper for everything. But today, how many bags do you use? And you think twice.
Yeah.
Because every time they ask you, it has a cost element.
That's true.
Do I put in? But for you now, you see the purpose, that it was actually a cost that was there, having very many bags.
Yeah.
But when you use one bag, then it also, that bag, you also are helped to reuse it often. And therefore, you reduce on the paper bags. So in terms of business, are there things in your business that you can reuse? Or are there certain activities in your production that you can keep thinking about circularity in whatever stage you are in your production. Are there certain things? Maybe you buy things that are disposable. Would you rather not invest in something that can be continuously used in your production unit?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Quite some insight there. And it goes deeper than actually what we see every day.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about it, we know how to recycle. We don't know so much about even those R's is something that we need to just delve deeper and see how we can do them, because we have the space and we have the ability to do it. And I love it that you're looking at how do you use it again and again. And there's a way you're putting it to the end of it, or to...
Yes, so it's to the end of its life. I'm saying,
Yes.
mpaka it starters, and you're like, okay, now you can rest.
You've done your work.
You have done your work.
Yeah.
And they're all indications that it is
Yes.
pretty worn.
Yes.
Instead of throwing away something that can be beneficial
I
in terms
know.
of being used again.
Yeah. No wonder I see my house help loves using worn-out towels to mop the house.
Yes.
So we're in circular economy, right?
Yeah, in circular, because
I
now you
love
have
it.
repurposed it
Yeah.
for something else.
For something
instead
else.
of disposing of it and
Yeah.
seeing it as waste. It is valuable in
Yes.
terms of what it is used
Beautiful,
for later
beautiful.
on.
Yes. And at this moment, we take a break. Just grab a glass of water, sit back, relax, enjoy the next few minutes. We'll soon be done, but we are glad that you're here with us. So we take a break, just a very short break, and we'll be back. Thank you.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cynthia.
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
Oh, no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Watu wa Mungu, Be the vocalist hapa, and I'm just here to give you a testament. I am a living testimony of the slogan of Hope FM, where they say, listen and live. I am such a serious testimony and a testament to that statement, because they have impacted my life big time. And imagine ile kitu wanauliza ni ati, the way they have impacted my life and your life. Tunaweza jaribu pia to spread hii kitu mpaka uko mashinani, to spread hii word ya God uko mashinani. And the only thing they're requesting us to do is just contribute 100 bob. We just become partners with them. Na unapatana tu na bob moja. Lakini pia kama una feel uko philanthropic sana, unaweza piga jil mbili. Tuende hivyo, Alright? And so they are calling it 100 for one, where you just give out 100 bob and they can reach out to another soul. And of course mnauliza, okay, tuko na iso tunatuma wapi? Iso tunatuma via M-Pesa na tuko na paybill number. Paybill number yetu ni 933. Alafu hapo kwa account name, alright? Andika tu FOH, yani Friends of Hope. Alafu tuma ile kitu natuma Hapo mbele ni pin number yako na ni siri yako. Alafu tu ushamaliza hii kitu. Click on the send. Na imagine utakuwa umefanya kitu moja serious sana. We as Hope Media tutakuwa tumereach out to one soul. God bless you. Be ire.
Great. Thank you for keeping it right there. We are glad. Eish, this L-R-R-O-R. Anyway, we are glad that you have kept it right there and you're still with us. We are talking about the circular economy. And of course, as we took the break, my guest here mentioned that sofa sets refurbished is also one of those, you know? I don't know whether you've refurbished your sofa sets lately, or you can see an opportunity right there in refurbishing sofas, in refurbishing homes, in refurbishing beds and all this. That is part of the circular economy. And so, Catherine, I want to ask, are there not more opportunities? You know, I'm thinking there may be other opportunities that we may not even see. You know, oftentimes entrepreneurs go around and they don't see opportunities. And yet still, I want to believe there are uncovered opportunities in the area of circular economy. Are there some that are hidden, you know, from the naked eyes that we don't see that you could probably bring to us?
I think having spoken about entrepreneurs, we say entrepreneurs are those people who are able to see opportunities where others see challenges and are able to create value that people are willing to spend money.
Yeah.
The currency would be the money for the value that they have created. And I think that is also part of circularity in terms of, you've mentioned something like refurbishing. Refurbishing could be on a domestic front, like you said, sofa set. But even in a work front, it could be refurbishing an equipment, where an equipment probably has done its life, but instead of disposing it as scrap, you may decide to refurbish it and help it extend its life without you condemning it. Maybe even a vehicle for all we might see, or it could be, like we said, whatever area you are in, you could look at an equipment and you say, instead of disposing of it. And also in the phone industry, you find that computers, you find that they're refurbished. It's still part of it because, like we said, marks it to the very end. So my thoughts of the SMEs is that it is very likely, and being an SME and also an entrepreneur, there are things that we do subconsciously without giving a name to them. And I feel circularity could be one of those things that we do in our businesses. And only when it's brought to your attention, then you realize, actually, I have been practicing circularity. And like we said, it is not waste management, because some people confuse it with waste management. We are saying it is understanding your processes and maximizing in every step of your process. Because we say whatever we have is infinite. Everything we have is infinite. It's finite.
Finite, yes.
Finite meaning that these are things that can
come to an end.
And because we know even our resources, if we don't use them well, they can come to an end. And what we're saying is, instead of getting something new, what can you do with what you have in terms of your process? And once you're able to max it, then we say the returns could be either you may find a new product, you may find a new opportunity, you may find a new way of earning money, like we talked about leather, and we're talking about other areas. If it is in agribusiness and you're working probably in a farm, or probably you're a dairy farmer, what is it you can do in that area that can maximize? What is it in the processes that you're working with can maximize?
Yeah.
Maybe in dairy, you may decide that the cow dung is something you can use. And it can go many ways.
Yes.
It can go many ways. It can be
Biogas.
It can turn out to be fertilizer. It can be used to
Build a thatch.
to build a thatch. It can go anyway. But it is recognizing that by doing this, you're using your natural resources to maximize in the way you're using it. And maybe that not even going to our modern life, it's very probable that even our ancestors were in the circularity.
Definitely.
Yeah, where they understood that whatever resources they use, they need to go back maybe to their natural form. You harvest, you take care of the earth that you have. There used to be the fallow system where once you have a crop this season, you move your crop to the next season. You use thatch houses. You know that you will max it until the very end, and the thatch, of course, is from a tree. You have your thatch houses, you use a cow dung for your house. But you know, at the very end, it will still go back into nature. But you're using the very resources that go back to nature. Even in disposing, we understand that maybe if your cattle, I don't want to use human, that after that you know that it can be fed on to wild animals or it can be fed on to people, where there's a certain circularity. It comes, life comes, it goes back to earth, it helps the earth in whatever form, in its decaying form becomes manure, it brings forth new life. So that circularity, being able to be in tandem. But we have to be realistic in this age and time, in that we are creating products that may not be able to go back to their natural form because of the form they are in. And that has been a big challenge in terms of products like the plastics.
Yes.
And therefore we are saying in this that we have that probably cannot move probably back to their form, then it can also be recycled, refurbished, reused. I mean, a lot of those R's that are indicating that it can still remain in the
used again.
it can still
Remain
remain
in the ecosystem.
in the ecosystem before it is
finally depleted.
finally depleted.
I
So
see.
so I think the word is max, the best you know how. And all of it takes many forms. We cannot
Yes.
say now plastic, one of the way it can go is burning it, because now that affects the
Destroys
ozone.
it
Yes.
completely and also affects the
And affect.
ozone.
But it can become poles. It can be shredded. It can be melted down into something that is useful for the environment. And maybe it can also take another form after that.
Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow. Wow! There's a lot. There is a lot in this circular economy. You know, as you talk, I'm thinking, once upon a time, I had this TV. No, not TV, but computer. I had these computers that have, you know, the ones that have the back,
The big back.
the big back.
Yes.
So that big back, I separated it with the inner part. And that big back became a container. I have a plant. One of my best plants is in that container. I can tell you, Catherine, for free. You know, who may I'm in circular economy and I don't know.
You're repurposing something.
I'm repurposing something, yes?
Yeah.
Wow, how amazing, how amazing. Not to think about somebody who I saw use, what is it called? A baby cot. And what they did is open up the front, because the baby cot, of course, is closed on all
Yes.
sides. They opened up the front and put cushions there, and it became a very nice sitting space in their living room.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yes. It became a seat
Yes.
of some sort.
Circular economy. And I'm hoping that it's home now. It doesn't look like it's very far-fetched for you, my dear audience. It is something that can be done. But then again, I think it's more even applicable as we talk about it in our businesses. How can you be able to utilize? How can you be able to take these ideas back to your business and see what you can apply? It could be in terms of processes, as Catherine says. It could be in terms of equipment. It could be in terms of materials that you're using. And of course, Catherine, at this point, I'm curious to know whether when we say we're going paperless, that's part of the circular economy. I don't know.
Well, we say that is saving trees, but
Yes.
also is also it's in circular in terms of we have gone another way.
Yes,
The importance of the paper is to relay communication.
yes,
So we have probably repurposed our computers
Yes.
and delegated what would have been done to paper
yes.
to electronic.
To electronic.
Yes, to save trees and to minimize again on the waste.
Yeah.
But if that waste occurs,
Yeah.
do you know what to do with it?
Uh-huh.
Is what we're saying.
Figuring out what to do with
what
it
to
when
do,
it
yes,
occurs.
yes.
I
so,
see.
So in terms of SMEs, if they can inbuild it in their business plan, in their business process, in terms of their sustainability, or in terms of what contribution are they making in terms of making this world a better place.
Definitely.
Yeah, and-
Because, of
yeah.
course, when you talk about sustainability, I know the environment is a very key
It is
area
key,
in terms of
yes.
sustainability.
It is, yes.
And, of course, at this point, I'm curious to know, are there people in this space that are training and teaching and exposing entrepreneurs on what they can do? I don't know. Are they there?
Yes, there is. There-
And is the government keen on these things? I don't know.
I won't speak for government for
Yes,
now,
yeah.
but I definitely know that there are development partners who are really supporting SMEs in terms of this. And there are experts out there. There are people who look at your business plan and we say it's not sufficient enough to have a business plan that's looking at profit without
Yes.
looking at what are you doing? Are you working in tandem with this world, with nature, with the needs that are coming across, or are you working against it?
I see.
Are you maxing? And also the other thing, as we are saying, it's also another level of helping you understand the things that you do in your business. And we are saying, be deliberate in it, because you may realize that even as you're working through your processes, it may help you save money through the processes,
Yes.
because you're working with materials. And it also leads to the question is this the direction that I want to take? It may also help you work with other partners who are keen on this ecosystem of circularity, so that you're more deliberate and when you're doing this. And we also find that even as you are working with this circularity, you may find that even if you want to get into export, if you want to get loans, are you a responsible SME?
Ah.
And part of the measure of responsibility is, do you
What are you
have
doing?
circularity in your ecosystem? Do you look at the things that you have in your business, the product that you're making? Do you see the end life of that product? What does it look like in the end life of that product?
Yeah.
How is it supporting? Or what is it that you can do that product that you're working with can be either reused, like we're saying, it has a component of it either being reused again, or the materials that you're using, are they probably degradable?
Biodegradable.
Yes, biodegradable. So those are the things that we're saying, that even if you're taking it to the circularity, it's not harming the environment. And I think what I will still keep saying, if we can reduce as much as possible what goes to the dump sites, we are contributing.
We're
Yeah,
contributing.
we are contributing.
And indeed, I hear the aspect of being responsible SME or entrepreneurs as we do this thing, because nobody will ever do it for us. We have to do it for our businesses by ourselves. But I'm wondering, is it for everyone? Is it for every SME? Is it for every entrepreneur? Is it for every one of us? Or there is a reserve? You guys do circular economy and the rest don't. Is it for everyone?
We talked about responsibility.
Yes. Yes.
So it does fit
Yes.
for the responsible SME. If
I
you
see.
subscribe yourself as a responsible SME, then this is one area that you may want to consider.
I see.
And I also see, eventually I see the law catching up with SMEs who are irresponsible in terms of what contribution do you have, your product, what is it contributed, other than that product giving the primary value, are there secondary benefits of having that product? Primary is, I am here to sell juice. Now, the packaging may also read into, is your packaging responsible in terms of the product you're selling?
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. This is heavy, Catherine. But then again, are there challenges that the circular economy is faced with that may make people want to run away or to not uptake as much as possible?
Yes, it is. One, because you might be in an industry, like I talked about packaging. If you were to use a product that is conducive or is good for biodegradability or for reuse, for example, the juice, it may make more money sense to have a one-time use plastic container vis-a-vis having a glass one. So that there's a cost, some areas there's a cost implication. Two, some products may not have that shelf life that you want. And you may be scratching your head and you wonder, it might be too expensive to refurbish.
Yeah.
Innovation is coming in.
Yes.
How do I start refurbishing some of these things? It's going to affect the way I'm conducting my business.
Yes.
And the other one is, I am used to doing it this way. So change is also very difficult where it calls
hear you.
upon you to do it. But the other one is probably you're practicing it and you don't know and you're not able to document it.
Yes.
And therefore, even if you're approached maybe by somebody who wants to offer you, you're scratching your head. But probably your whole processes have an element of circularity. And two, knowledge is power.
Yes.
Practicing it is wisdom. And in this case, we're saying, know what it means. And the wisdom is to use it for your benefit at the end. It could be an impact benefit. It could be a financial benefit. It could be a social benefit in terms of doing that. Because it affects many areas of our lives.
Yes.
And for those that we're saying are responsible, what kind of world do you want to see in the next 100 years?
Yeah.
Because those that lived 100 years ago have given us this type of world.
Yes.
What do we want to give in the next 100 years?
Wow.
And we're saying circularity might be one of the ways to, if it's accelerating, to slow down what we're talking about carbon emissions in terms of affecting the world, in terms of the kind of waste that we're having, in terms, in terms of the toxicity that we are throwing to the soils and what. Are we able to slow down? We may not stop it completely, but what are we as SMEs doing? Remember, we are probably, I don't know, a billion, I don't know how many billions of people, but we are not one number. It's individuals that make a difference.
That's true.
Yes, it's individuals. So if each one of us did something, then it would make a big difference in this world. So what you as an SME are you doing? You may have 2 or 3 people. Are you able to help them understand that even as they are cutting those items, at the back of their mind, they are thinking about how best can I maximize on this resource that I have at this point?
Wow.
By the time it gets to the next level, I have maxed it at this point.
Yes.
So how do we go diminishing the waste at the end in the processes that we're doing?
Wow. And of course, as you talk about the challenges and you're talking about the cost, it reminds me of a business not too long ago. They were in food and they would serve, in fact, I loved to eat their food. I would always order their food because they would serve with a wooden fork and a wooden knife, you know? But with time, I mean, it can be very, very costly to run such. But I think there is a cost to pay for all these things, even as you remain responsible. And I'm hoping that my dear viewers, my dear audience, you have been able to pick some of these things that we need to do to live responsibly, even as we run our businesses. And even as I invite Catherine to do your parting shot, I am so glad that you have been able to expose such a big thing, the circular economy, in such a basic way. And you can see where you pat yourself or what it is that you need to do as you run your business. But also for those of us who are not in business, there are many opportunities, as Catherine tells us, and there is a way that you can plug in and make the difference in the market space. So I want to invite you, Catherine, to do your parting shot, even as we come to the end of our program this evening.
Okay, my parting shot would be, circularity is for everyone, and I think it all begins with me. Even as I am an entrepreneur or a business person, it begins with me.
Yes.
And therefore, in my own little space, what are the little things that I can do? You talked about the papers. Is there a way that I can reduce on my use of papers? Is there a way I can go to the supermarket with my kiondo or a fabric bag every time so that I don't keep buying those bags often? And therefore maximizing on what we did. And I think we can learn from our not, I wouldn't say our forefathers or ancestors, even our parents, for our parents. In the community I came from, we had the concept of carrying a kiondo, a basket, a woven
To the
basket
market.
made out of sisal.
Ah.
Yeah, it degrades, it's
Yes.
marked, it gets
Yes.
holes and whatnot. It's disposed of, it goes back to nature, it becomes whatever it is. But the concept of carrying such things, bags, a kiondo to your supermarket, it is tedious.
Yes.
But can you imagine how many bags you will save
I know.
in terms of buying?
Yeah.
So there's a responsibility.
There's a responsibility.
Your mother
factor.
using that container,
Yeah.
a Kimbo container. Are there certain containers we have in the house where instead of buying them continuously, is there a way? I know there's a lady in one WhatsApp group who was saying, bring all your wine bottles. We can make
vases.
we can make vases. We can make things out of them.
Yeah.
And that is just participating in this area, even before we open the doors of our industries.
Wow.
But because industries, depending on the size that we are in, we also have a responsibility where we take ourselves, what we are practicing at home, we take it to the workplace.
Yes.
Maybe paperless, maybe refurbishing your sofas, okay, your furniture in the office, helping him understand, maybe having, instead of buying water in plastic containers, maybe you have one big container in the office.
That is
and
refillable.
that is refillable.
Yeah.
I mean, small things. And it's
Yes.
the little things that become big things.
I
If all of
know.
us could practice these things. So it's not that it is for them. It's for the developed world. It's for the big SMEs. It is for NEMA. It is for everybody else.
It
But
is for
myself,
us.
it is a responsibility we all need to take into consideration, even
Yes.
as, and even challenge people who are not practicing that. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Can it be done differently?
I hear you.
And if it can, why
Why?
not? Yeah.
And how will I participate
And
in this
how,
responsibility?
Yes, will I participate in it?
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. You are fantastic, Catherine. I've enjoyed this discussion. I feel like we need to do another hour, because you're amazing and you know your thing. And then you're very passionate about this circular economy. And I'm hoping that this passion has really infiltrated yours so that you make a difference wherever you're doing your business. And just live responsibly, as Catherine is calling all of us, as SMEs, as entrepreneurs, to just do our thing and do it very responsibly. See what it is that you can reuse, refurbish, and many other R's. And I'm hoping that we are taking this from this discussion this evening. With that, dear ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of our show. It's been amazing. It has been real. I'm hoping that you have carried something and that this will make a difference, not only to your business, but to your neighbor's business, but also not to your neighbor's business, but to our environment, because we are looking at building sustainable businesses by just looking at how the circular economy can be applied in your little small thing, in my little small thing, and whatever we do every day. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I say kwaheri for now. See you next Sunday, same time, same place. God bless you.